Now, I bet you're wondering how to complete manual acceptance, because I've talked about certain setups that need to be done, and it's this OIP that no one ever knows about. First of all, to complete the manual explicit acceptance, the screens I'm showing you in the next two slides will actually visually show you why you need to have the functions enabled through System Administrator. The sales order menu functions of fulfillment acceptance and then update acceptance attributes, when you enable them, they provide the next two screens. The first one is your Actions button LOV of fulfillment acceptance. Your next capability to provide manual explicit acceptance comes as a result of your fulfillment acceptance button down on the bottom of your sales order line form, whether you're in the quick sales orders or the standard sales order form. The sales order menu function, that being set to the responsibility when you're defining it through System Administrator, that's what enables this button to be active. Now, the third part was giving your users the order information portal responsibility. As a result, you can get into this look and feel of this view-only application for the sales order information. The fulfillment acceptance and fulfillment acceptance buttons bring internal users into this form. On an external user, if I'm a customer service rep from my customer, updating all my acceptance information weekly from my receiving manager, I would just log straight into the portal, and I would only have access to pull up my records. So I would just pull it by sales order and then perform my acceptance updates. So to complete manual acceptance, you need to get to the portal if you're doing it manually. Once you're in that transaction, you need to select the sales order line that you're working with, which is the checkbox on the left, select the appropriate line, and then from there you need to, in your Actions menu, either select Accept or Reject and then click Go. You'll notice that over on the right-hand region of the screen, your acceptance status and your acceptance date reflect pending values. So I have a pending value for status and a null value for my date, showing that it's not been accepted yet. Once I click Go, I'm brought into the Process Acceptance screen, and this is where I enter all my acceptance information relative to that transaction. So if you think about it, I'm a customer service rep at a customer. My receiving manager gives me all of his pack slips or all of his documentation weekly, and I perform my customer acceptances on Monday, per se. I can go in and I can say, okay, what's my reference document? Okay, I have pack slip number 1234. What was my acceptance date? This would be the date that, Michael Martin, my receiving manager, wrote on that paper when he did the receipt. If there's any acceptance comments, was the box damaged? Is there any comments that the receiver or someone wrote on the reference document? Those can be entered there. And the acceptance customer signature, again, this is Michael Martin. This is the person or party that is actually accepting the product or the service, not the user that's performing the acceptance in the screen right now. From there, you'd click Submit, and on the bottom it shows you your acceptance or rejection has been completed successfully, and you would click OK. From here, you can see that you're brought back to the order information, order status form, respective to the sales order line that you were just performing the acceptance for. You can also see that down on the right, your acceptance status and your acceptance date values have now been updated. You've gone from pending to accepted, and you've gone from null to the date and timestamp value of completing the acceptance. If you now click the Close Window link on the top right, you'll be brought back into the sales order if you are an internal user at the vendor. Here it shows you how your sales order line on your Others tab, how your acceptance data is updated as a result of your acceptance being completed. I now have a customer acceptance date value, and I now have the customer acceptance by and the customer acceptance quantity. Again, the by is the user that performed that transaction in the system, whether it's a program or manually done through OIP. Again, that value is not the customer signature value. The customer signature value is another column that can be added to this folder if you need to. Now we're going to go into just some different methods of how to kind of monitor or manage your customer acceptance transactions. Oracle has created a standard report called the Customer Acceptance Report to provide you a starting point or a baseline to help you manage your accepted, rejected, or pending acceptance transactions. And the reason I say a starting point or a baseline is as you see the output when I go over it with you, you'll kind of see there is some information that is missing that you could use this baseline to build off of. Here's an example of just sample output based on what was in our vision system. So it shows me, it doesn't show me my parameters, which unfortunately is, this is the second page, so the first page might. This page does not show me the basic information relative to customer acceptance, such as my customer acceptance name or my deferral reason. That would be helpful to see. It also, I don't see a field that shows me my event attribute, such as ship confirm date. It also doesn't show me an expire days anywhere. So, and the reason I'm pointing this out is it shows me, if I'm looking across my columns left to right, it shows me I have a fulfilled quantity of 3. If I go across, I have accepted none, rejected none, and pending 3. So, for me as a user trying to support this, do I call the customer and say, okay, why hasn't this transaction been accepted yet? Is there a reason? The only reason I know that this has not been accepted yet is because in my PO I have given myself a purchase order that tells me it's an implicit 1-day expiration. I can guarantee you your customers are not going to give you that same latitude in terms of their PO numbering. So it would be nice to have a fulfillment quantity and a fulfillment date. It would be nice to also have, okay, I have an event attribute of X, I have an expiration days of X. That way you can see if you need to call a customer, or if you truly have, like, maybe workflow stuck, or maybe there's a problem with an interface and that's why you have stuff pending and your expiration date hasn't been honored in terms of your request updating your transactions. So this is a good starting point. It's better than nothing. You can also get information out of your order organizer on your lines level and save queries that way if you set up your applications to allow the users to save queries. But these are good ways to help you get started if you want to deploy customer acceptance.